I look mad. No, I've even got my tail going. Bear with me, okay? Welcome back, day 42. I am in such good spirits. I am. So in all of that good stuff, contemplations, meditations, considerations of my heart have been about self-love. When I said bear with me, that's what self-love is. It's a bearing with self, bearing with one another. I did, I guess, a balancing and very introspective reflection of self and the situation that I found myself in yesterday. It really brought me to just indulging in a lot of me and the parts that I love, like just, yeah, the things that bring me joy and happiness as I cultivate it, right? Anyway, today I actually have like a story time of pure wisdom of age. Yeah, so of course, between friends, so don't expect to hear this out on the streets, okay? Long story short, my neighbour invited me in for a cup of tea. She's this little old lady, born and bred British. We're talking and I was just sharing with her some of the like crappy things that were happening last week. As I did that, she was just like, "You're not depressed and all that, are ya?" And this lady is the straightest of shooters, and her unapologeticness to be herself is just always inspiring. I love her for it. So our conversations are always fiery. So I was like, of course not. I am just going through the ebbs and flows of life. And it was such a multi-generational, fantastic moment of meeting of minds and meeting of experience of age and experience of life, all in the same conversation. She was born around the World War ages, and so when we were talking about just like how to handle things, it was with such similar mindsets. It was a lovely reflection of just what something is, accepting it as it is and moving through it, right? There was a joy kick that came a moment ago when I was sitting here watching church, when the conversation just flashed in my mind. We were talking about how essentially to manage our mental health before it becomes a mental illness. Ish happens, you face it, you deal with it and you move on. Or when it's even happening, you move through it. If that's all you can do, then please do it. But when the time comes, you have to sit down, stop and check in with yourself. I am absolutely no doctor, but well-being is a spiritual in touch with self thing. It's not like hoo ha 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 ha, Casper the Ghost. It's more about staying in touch with nature, staying in touch with what is true. And for me, only truth satisfies me. I have to give an account of how I've loved myself to God on the day of reconciliation, on the day that we get to hug, embrace, however that looks like in the spirit, but that's how I envision our meeting. I'm gonna have to give an account of how I love myself and how that reflects into him. The full circle of that story is that I was loving myself in being vulnerable as a strength and just accepting an invitation. And then I was loving God because I speak about my faith very freely and openly around my friends and my family and the people I call neighbours. In that conversation, she asked me, as we just carried on going into life, she was like, "I'm not into that, like, you know, I'm a woman of faith and all of that. Like, you know, she doesn't talk like this, but this is like..." But yeah, anyway, I just love the fact that, again, like I said, it was a meeting of multi-generations. She has been born and bred in a completely different way, but we are meeting in this middle space. As we reflected, we were just talking about faith and how that helps us and encourages us. And we're not of the same quote unquote denomination, but she believes that obviously Jesus is the way, the truth and the life, like I do. And so we met in the middle there. And she asked me just very boldly, and I think very bravely, doesn't my faith get shaken at times, you know, that I believe God is real, but, you know, no, I said my faith doesn't get shaken, quote unquote. Will I have moments where it's tested? Absolutely. I replied, no, because although I can see things with my eyes that are out there and it's going on and I can't help it and I wonder why, it doesn't stop me from also knowing that God is God. When you know that you know someone who you know and call friend, nothing shakes you about who you know they are. You defend it. right? And it was just such a natural response, and it brought so much stillness and peace in that conversation. God went ahead of me essentially in that conversation, gave me the tools to just stop, check in with myself, and tranquility really preceded like the room. And so having loved him, loved myself through this week by loving him, and then loved my neighbor, and coming around full circle, I am so re-energized and I'm ready for what the week has for me. Yeah, day 42, we have to give a self-love account. We have to, eventually. Make sure it's a good one.